Hello everybody, this is Solar Tiger with another e-bike video. Today is in April of 2023 and this is my RadRunner Plus E-bike that I showed in a previous video, and I'm going to go over some things that I have done to it, and I'm going to explain about heated clothing. So this is my RadRunner Plus e-bike from Rad Power Bikes, and I use this to cycle to work because I have been relying on the bus, but sometimes I need to go to work before the buses run or at a different time to the bus is running. So I bought the RadRunner Plus, and I explained about it in the last video. So as a quick recap, this is a electric e-bike. It's road legal in the UK. It has a 250 watt motor, hub motor in the back. It's a Bafang motor. The bike has a maximum speed of 15.5 miles an hour using the motor. It's powered by a 48 volt battery, and this is the RadRunner Plus. It has suspension in the front. I have an upgraded light in the front, the premium headlight from Rad Power Bikes. It's rated at 500 lumens. It has a tail light at the back here. So there's a tail light combination brake light. So when you pull the brake, the light gets brighter. Now, in the last video, I showed that I had a box on the back, but a 24 litre box. But I found that with the stuff I needed to carry, it wasn't big enough. So I've upgraded to a 45 litre box. So this is a Wham Bam 45 litre heavy duty storage box. It has a clip-on lid, and it's heavy duty and it's waterproof, and I can carry all the stuff I need to carry. When I put it on originally, I put it right up to the seat, and then discovered that I couldn't sit on the seat, so I had to take it off and move it back. You can see now there's a several inch gap here, which I need to sit on the seat comfortably, which means that the box does hang over the back of the bike, and I had to relocate the tail light. So the tail light used to be there, so I undid it and I moved it up to here on the back of the box. I had to rejig the cable that comes from the controller to make enough slack, because I couldn't buy a short extension cable. So I now have it on the back of the box. It's bolted through with the original bolts. Now this light looks pretty big, but all of this part is just a reflector, and there's a couple of LEDs at the bottom, but it is quite bright. So anyway, the main part of this video is that I cycle to work early in the morning, sometimes about 6:15 in the morning, and it's cold and chilly in the morning, so I invested in some heated clothing that I've mentioned in other videos on my channel, because being cold is no fun and it affects you when you're riding. So heated gear is definitely recommended. Now, you can buy cheap battery powered gear on the market, all this USB stuff from China, but it's not really that great. The batteries are bulky and they don't put out much heat. So I've turned to motorcycle heated clothing. This stuff is marketed for the motorcycle market, where you zip along at a good speed, and the faster you go, the colder the wind chill. And when you're going at motorbike speeds, it gets very cold. So the gear they make for the motorcycle market is much more powerful, and that's what you want. So what we have here at the top is a heated base layer shirt. This is the Warm and Safe heated base layer shirt that's made by Warm and Safe. Warm and Safe in the UK. They also sell it in America. It's also sold under the First Gear brand, which it's just the same thing with a different brand on it. So this is the heated layer shirt. You wear it right next to your skin or over a thin t-shirt. I wear it over a thin t-shirt so that I don't have to wash it as frequently, but that's how it is. So I like this shirt because it's heated in the front, it's heated in the back and heated in the sleeves, and it has heating in the collar, and it's thin and stretchy. And the most efficient heated gear is that you wear under all your clothing, because if you wear heated gear over other clothing, it's harder for the heat to penetrate through to your body, and then it means it uses more power, which is not such an important consideration on a motorcycle, but it is if you're not, and I'll come to that a bit later. So in the shirt there are two circuits. The circuit with the red plug is for the heating in the shirt, and it has a second circuit, which is the black plug, which comes out of the sleeves, and that's where you attach heated gloves, like this. Now, to demonstrate this, I've used a lot of extension cables, which you obviously wouldn't use in real life. In real life, the glove would be plugged right into the sleeve, but I've used these extension cables simply to show you how it's connected up. So you have a feed for the gloves. Now, at the moment, I only have a single controller, and actually I'll come back to that in a little later. Also, I bought some heated trousers, because when I was cycling in my work trousers, which are pretty thin, the cold wind penetrates through to your skin, and I had cold legs. Now bear in mind that this bike can only do 15.5 miles an hour under its own steam, i.e. with the motor and me pedaling. Normally I'm doing about 15.2 miles an hour as the optimum speed that I found, and even at 15 miles per hour there is wind chill, you know, just going along the road, and if it's windy it's colder still, and if it's early in the morning it's definitely cold. You know, the mornings can be cold on the way to work. Maybe it warms up in the daytime, but the first thing in the morning when it's a little bit dark, it can be cold. So that's why I wear heated gear. So these are the Gerbing heated trousers. These are liner trousers. You wear them underneath your normal trousers. So these have a stretchy waistband. It's just elastic and Velcro fastening. And now I wear a large in tops and medium to large in trousers. These trousers are actually extra small, and maybe could have done with a size small, but I got a good deal on these on eBay. I paid about £40. I think I made an offer for £40 on these. They were brand new, these Jerbing trousers. They had the micro wire, Jerbing micro wire. That was label right here. They also padded and insulated as well. And these trousers have the wiring inside the leg for heated insoles or heated socks. I don't have those, but they are available as an option. So these are insulated trousers and they're heated. The heating in these at maximum I think is about 40 watts in this, and the heating in the top maximizes out at about 48 watts. So when you turn these up, they are hot, and that can be good. So if I come back to the controller, this is the warm and safe single controller. It only has one output. So if you want to control more than one thing, such as if I want to control the trousers as well as the top, then I need to use a splitter. I have a splitter here. So one wire is going to the main part of this, and the other cable is going to the heated trousers, which means at the moment my gloves are not actually connected. But I'm finding at the moment that wearing the gloves, these gloves, that I don't need to have the heating on at the moment, as they're warm enough as they are. These are Clan heated gloves. They're a fairly oldish model. They're made of a cordura material that I think is waterproof. So I've worn them out in the rain and that's fine. So, and I bought these as a part of a whole load of clothing for 20 quid. But I mainly just use these gloves, so even if I just counted the gloves for the 20 quid, I'd be happy with them. So now, ideally, at the moment that the heated shirt and the trousers are controlled together with the one controller, so whatever heat you have for one, you have for the other. And that may be okay for the heated trousers and the heated top. But say if you was only using the heated top and the gloves to put them together, then maybe you might find the gloves are too hot or not hot enough, or your body's too hot or not hot enough, and you want to control them separately. Then in that case you'll need a dual controller. For an example, I have a Jerbing's dual controller. There's one input for your power source and two outputs, and so you could control your heated shirt and your gloves separately, or your shirt and the trousers separately, or whatever combination you want to come up with. As you buy it, it just has manual buttons on it. Sorry, this is a precarious setup that I have here. I just set up for demonstration. I shouldn't have pressed down on it. So the only problem with having the push buttons on the controller is if you put the controller inside your shirt or your jacket or wherever, you can't access the buttons on it. But you can by a remote control for this unit, like I have for this unit. This unit has a remote control and you can mount it somewhere convenient, because when you're travelling down the road and you want to change the temperature, digging in your jacket is not possible. So what I have is a remote. This is the remote for the warm and safe single controller. to remote, and I mount it on the handlebars where it's within easy reach. And also I can adjust this whilst wearing motorcycle gloves. So as I'm riding along the road and I'm feeling a bit too hot, I can turn it down, or if I'm feeling a bit cold, I can crank it up a bit. So I'm also have on order the appropriate remote for the Gerbings dual controller. So I have that too. Because what I find is, when I go out first thing in the morning, I'm cold, and it's cold outside, and I'm having to adjust to it. So when I go out first thing, I crank the knob up to high to warm me up, and I cycle down the road, and a mile or two down the road, once I've warmed up a bit, bear in mind I have to pedal as well on this bike to make it legal, so that generates a bit of heat in itself. Then while I'm riding, I can turn the knob down to lower the temperature without having to stop or without taking my eyes off of the road. I can easily reach over and twiddle the knob down. So that is a critical thing. Now, when you buy a controller like this Gerbings dual one, the remote is an optional extra, but it's highly recommended you buy it because it makes it possible to adjust the temperature while you're riding, because this will go inside your jacket pocket somewhere and then it's inaccessible. So that's that. Now, this is an e-bike. It runs on 48 volts, it has a 48 volt battery, and you might say, well, this gear runs on 12 volts, it's meant to go on a motorcycle. So how do you make that work? Well, it's obvious that I don't connect it to the main battery. So instead, I bought a 12 volt battery. And this is it. It's inside my cargo box. And this is a 12 volt battery. It's actually a golf trolley battery. And it's a lithium iron phosphate battery, which has several benefits. One, it's fairly light. This is a 22 amp hour battery, and it weighs just under 3 kilograms. Also, it's a lithium iron phosphate battery, which also means it has a long cycle life, a couple of thousand cycles, and it also has a higher nominal voltage. The nominal voltage of this is 12.8 volts nominal. The fully charged voltage is about 14 volts. So this is a good stand-in for the battery you'd have on your motorbike that is charged by the generator while the engine's running. Which means obviously you can run your gear whatever setting you want for as long as you run the engine on your bike, which is fine. But obviously this is an e-bike and there's no engine and there's nothing to charge the battery. So this is what would be called a total loss system. You draw the power out and it's not recharged until I take it away and actually charge it with a mains charger. So also, because this is a golf trolley battery, it has a T-bar connection, which is common amongst golf trolleys. It's a quick connect plug and socket for connecting and disconnecting the cables, which makes this easy for me to remove and take away to charge it, and easy for me to connect my cables to it when I set off. So what I did, so because this is 12.8 volts and nominal, means the voltage is higher than if I used a sealed lead acid battery, which has a lower nominal voltage, heavier because they contain lead, and you can only use 50% of the capacity. With lithium iron phosphate batteries, the nominal voltage is 12.8 volts, so higher. They are lighter in weight, and you can use 90% of the battery's capacity. So I have a bigger usable capacity in this lithium iron phosphate battery than if I had a 22 amp hour lead acid battery. So that's that. It came with a protective cover with a carry handle, as it's meant to go on a golf trolley, and on the back side there is a charging jack. So that's that. So how I have it connected up is I bought a T-bar cable that connects to the battery, and this here is the actual gerbing battery cable that you would normally connect to the battery on your motorbike. I've simply connected the cable to the T-bar cable. So it's connected through there. I have a fuse. This is a 7.5 amp fuse, which is good for 90 watts of power. And the cable goes through the bottom of the box, comes out under here, with cable tied along here, and it comes out to the jack, which is here. So that's how that works. So normally the cable, this red cable that comes from the controller, would connect from there directly to here. I've used extension cables here just to demonstrate how it's wired up, but normally you wouldn't use that. So that's how that works. So if you work out the power, there's 40 odd watts in here, 40 in there, 48 watts I believe. So it'd be 40, 80, about 88 watts if I cranked it up to the maximum, and that's 7.5 amps. So if I have 20 amp hours usable, then 7.5 and 7.5 would be 15 amp hours. So that's 2 hours, and I would have another 5 amp hours left. So that's, say, 2.5 hours with it cranked up to maximum. And I'm going to tell you that the maximum is very hot, so you probably wouldn't be using the maximum. And my commute each way to work, which is about 7.5 miles, takes about 45 minutes. So 45 minutes to go and 45 minutes to come back. It's about an hour and a half. So I could easily run the 90 watts for an hour and a half. As I said, that's very, very hot, and I probably wouldn't be using that. So I have a couple of hours in this battery, so no problems there. And it does a very good job. And I usually find after a mile or two going down the road, I'm turning the power down to, I don't know, a third or less. So the heating system works very well. Also, when riding on your e-bike, I wear a jacket on top of this, but I also recommend wearing a high-vis vest and a helmet, preferably that's high-vis colour. So definitely recommend wearing a helmet and high-vis clothing. That's just to make yourself visible. And also, I ride this bike on the main road, in the UK, main roads normally have a speed limit of around 50 miles per hour. Yes, you had 50 miles per hour. I ride this on a 50 mile an hour road, and you're recommended to wear high-vis clothing and a helmet. So, this is Solar Tiger with a video about my e-bike, the RadRunner Plus UK model, and my heated gear setup. So this is how I use heated gear on my e-bike, because I haven't seen very many good videos about this. I tried googling it and came up with nothing useful. So this is what I do, where you can wear motorcycle heated gear with motorcycle heated gear performance on your e-bike. Oh, by the way, I bought this Ultramax 22 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery and charger for about £60, which was a good deal. So this is my video. I'm going to end it here, and until next time, this is Solar Tiger saying thank you for watching. If you got any comments or questions, then as usual, please write them below. I will answer sensible comments. Any sarcastic or stupid comments will be ignored. That's just how I work. If you want to say sarcastic things or stupid things, they'll simply be ignored. Whereas if you have a sensible question, I'll do my best to answer it. So, this is Solar Tiger saying thank you for watching, and until next time, goodbye and safe e-bike riding. Thank you.